Okay, here we are in map 2. Don't need much. Once again, tier 1 weapons, because we're only in the second map. It's in map 2 that I'm going to give the player tier 2 weapons, which are the better rifles and AK-47s and things like that. That do a lot more damage. But you tend to start map 2 if you're following Valve's sort of examples, then you tend to start map 2 with sort of less powerful weapons, and then this is where the fun bit starts. So, decided to keep the rain going at this point. I just think it's a very enigmatic feel, so I'm still keeping that up. Yeah, I mean, once again, you can move through all of these trees and weeds and stuff, but you don't play a stick to the pathway, so you're kind of snaking them through. And by obscuring the view, it gives the director a chance to spawn zombies behind you as well. So I'm kind of zigzagging through this. These are sort of forest pathway bits I took from a music festival I go to called Boomtown in London, in the UK. And they've got this really savage hill in the middle of the festival, and they cut steps into it and put wooden things around it. So I really like just the look of it. It looked really cool, so I thought I'd add it to the map. You don't need to jump. You can actually, most of the same thing as jump. You can just run straight back up because I've kind of clipped it. But I still like the aesthetic and it keeps you on the path, even though you're kind of in woodland. It keeps players moving through the space that I'd like them to. You see the screen glitching there with the fog once again. Just a weird glitch with the engine. The next thing, once we actually get into town here, the idea of a tiered town where the rooftops are at the same height on the other side of the street. You've got the rooftop here. It's more pronounced in the next street onwards. But I already did like a test map, which was kind of set in the storm for Hard Rain. I turned that on, and it was pretty cool, but I decided to fold it into this campaign. But you can see that here, the rooftop of the next building starts at sort of almost street level of the next one down, and so you kind of step your way down through the town. And I really like oddly, for some reason, I really like jumping down onto things. I don't know why, it's very satisfying. I use it a lot in my maps, and it is that kind of one-way thing, but also for some reason, I really like just the movement of it. The aesthetic of it. The other thing I was going to say is that what we're doing here is making multiple paths through a single area. So if you come up here, you will find that I have multiple paths through here. I have the far right path here, where the smoker's doing his thing. You can jump down the cliff, or you can come through this fenced area, and there's some goodies inside by the lantern. Or you can come down the left-hand side, down the pathway. Equally here, you can either go up to the roof and get some goodies up there. There is a rescue closet up here as well, in case someone's already died at this point, and come down this way. Or you can come through the side here, and you can either go around this or through it. So once again, creating... I was lucky, the coach was up there. Once again, creating multiple pathways through a fairly small space, but it's a linear path, but it's still got multiple options, if you like. This shop is relatively new. I started hollowing out some of the shops and adding interiors to some of them, and then putting weapon spawns and stuff inside, just to give it a bit more, a bit more something to do, a bit more busy work for the team. And then one here, you kind of got normally a hiding place for some goodies and stuff like that. And what I'm doing here is whenever you see a pickup in the map, it's normally basically I've placed an object which can spawn a pickup. Doesn't mean it will. It just means that I'm not force spawning anything. So obviously we want the experience to be different every time. We want the director to be able to do its job and to monitor the player's behaviour and to give them more ammo if they need it, or health or whatever it may be at the time when necessary. So there is. Sorry, distracted. My specials. Yeah, there is. So basically, whenever people were complaining to me, saying, "Oh, there's too many items, not enough items, too many items, things like that," and actually, that's just the game director doing what it does. all I'm doing is creating the opportunity for items to spawn in a particular situation. So, I mean, obviously, the more spawn points I put in, the more it could spawn, but really, it's the director doing this thing. Okay, so that's a tank on its way. I can see the screen vibrating, but I've got no sound. This, I like the idea of coming up to the rooftops and then dropping down again onto, once again, drop. But, yeah, once again, this kind of tiered town that we're doing. And we're sort of stepping our way down through the town as we go. This shiny rooftops here you can see was purely an accident, but I think it looks quite good with the rain, so I left it. It's a bit bright, but obviously it's the white sky causes some savage reflections in this game for me. So once again, these rooms are hollow here. There's some goodies, not very good goodies, but nonetheless. And this one here, I haven't done the rest of the shops yet. I might come back and do them at some point. But yeah, this white sky reflection thing almost makes it look. Oh, you could say that's a broken cube map. That's where I should have a cube map in the room, and I don't. So it's just picking up the nearest one outside. It's that kind of stuff I don't fret too much about, I must admit. As a mapper alone, you can't really spend that much time on it. So here we've got multiple paths again. So we've got obviously pinch points once again by the here, and you can move your way down through the street. Or you can go down this sort of gully, this arcade. There's a respawn point there. Or you can head on the rooftops via the bus, which is what I'm going to do. I liked the idea of having, this is very silly, like this bus coming off the road and crashing here and creating this, but whatever. It's whoever said it had to be realistic. I think in terms of realism, I'm going for hyper reality in these maps. So it's, you know, obviously it's you know, a very unlikely situation, but it's the sort of thing you'd see in a movie, and I think that's what I'm going for. I really like the sort of no mercy finale, Die Hardy, you know, kind of feel to that amazing finale on the rooftops there. So I'm very happy to push the limits and make things seem way over the top. I think Left 4 Dead 2, with the exception of you know, there's a few amazing bits like the bridge at the end, or the or Dark Carnival, but I don't know. For me, people say it's far more silly than than the first one, but I don't know. I find those kind of city, I don't know, maps. I find it all a little bit bland, really. So I really want to push the silliness in my maps and give players something a bit more spectacular. So. Oh, okay. So here we go. This is an idea that I had. I was playing around with ideas, and I thought, well, we've seen a plane crash. So I was like, man, train crash, why not? There's lots of train stuff in the Left 4 Dead sort of model kits and stuff I like to use. So I wanted to have that, but I wanted the train crash to mean something. So as a result, I wanted it to sort of clear the way forward. So I didn't want it to just be something that happened randomly. I wanted it to be something that the players caused, but also had a gameplay function. And in this case, the train crash, it clears the way to the safe room, and you're sort of locked out until then. So I've had varying feedback about this. It started with, when I first built this, it was really easy. It's still really easy, but it's a little more challenging, I think. Trying to get to the safe room once it's cleared is actually, I think, quite challenging. But what I wanted was a shooting gallery, really. I wanted to have a very long distance of fire, and really just to pick them off as they come towards you, because it's fun, not because it's challenging. And I think that's quite a good rule of thumb, is to go with what's fun rather than what's hard when you're building levels. And so this is a little broken. Oh no, they are spawning. If you can't really see it, it's a long way off, but down there's several. They can either come out the tunnel, or they can come out of the bushes above the tunnel, and both of those are working now. For a while it was a bit buggy, and they would only come out of one area. But yeah, no, I mean, for the most part, I can pick off most of the idea is to kill as many of them before they get up the stairs and sort of kind of attack you from the side. But Quite often it's not hard, but hopefully it's fun. Once again, it's quite good trying to catch these guys as they run by, and obviously the throwables help as well. There is a bug at the moment with this carriage here is a physics prop, and so when the train comes through, it pushes it to one side, which I thought was cool. What it turns out though is that you can actually launch it off the floor with explosives if you've got if you put a explosive canister or something underneath it, you can launch the whole thing really high up, and that's very funny. But it also blocks the route for the train if you're not careful. So I've seen a few playthroughs where the bug caused that. So I need to probably change that, move it over to one side, and just leave the pathway completely open for the train to come through. It's kind of a shame. Really, I want it to smash its way through all the stuff, but actually all it does is nudge these things to the side, so it's not really, doesn't really have the dramatic impact that I hoped it would have. Also, I think it's better to have that as a sort of fixed area. So I took the flames from the jets that you get in the final map of Left 4 Dead 2, and I attached them to the train because it's sort of flaming, moving flames. And then the sound effects, which obviously you can't hear on this because I've turned the sound off, but yeah, I needed stuff that really had an impact, and there's not a huge amount. I don't know, it just didn't have the right kind of sound, so I had to use some sort of fairly wonky sound effects to kind of give the impression of a big explosion or a big impact that had happened beneath you. For some reason, the director really loves to punish the players at this point. Obviously, you've got an endless sort of stream of zombies coming down at you. Oh, God. And then you've got specials as well, and there seems to always be a spitter or something here in the window. But anyway, but that's map 2. Thank you, and I'll be back in a minute.